How's it going, everyone? I'm King. I'm with 3Can, and we're going to be talking about The Last of Us Part 2 and Number 1, which is both of our favourite games, and the anticipation for Part 2, how excited we are, what we're expecting. What are you expecting, Dan?
Expecting big things. I'm expecting to be wowed, mate. To be wowed. My expectation levels are up here. I'm so buzzing for this game.
Are you expecting your socks to be blown off?
Yeah, I'm so happy that my socks will finally get blown off after the disappointment of Game of Thrones season 8. I am really looking forward to this.
I think maybe we shouldn't go there. That's a whole other video.
That's a big other video. That it really is. It really is.
So, should we talk about Part 1 to begin with?
Yeah. Let's get into it.
Okay, so the way Part 1 sets the scene from early stages.
That big cinematic at the start. Yeah.
So, if you don't know, spoiler alert if you don't.
Yeah, warning.
Just a bit. The first 20 minutes of The Last of Us Part 1, where you meet Joel, you meet his daughter, and you lose her pretty brutally, and you find out about the apocalypse and what's going on. Just the way it's done and the way it sets the scene is pretty remarkable, right?
Throws you into the game, gives you every bit of information you need to go. I love the way it's made as well. When you're playing as Sarah and you start off, you just get all these little clues as you're walking through the house. You get the newspaper, the news on the TV. You see the explosions out the window, the phone call, the missed calls on Joel's phone when you get downstairs. Just all those little bits. You're just starting to put two and two together. Intensity starts to rise, and then Joel comes back, and straight away, bang, shoots his neighbor in the face.
Yeah, and another thing that I don't think is discussed about as much is you don't see a clicker or anything on the box for the game or any of the artwork. So you don't know what's coming, and you don't know why it's suddenly an apocalypse or apocalypse-like event. So you're finding out with Sarah, which I find pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, as you just get given the information at the same time as the characters. It's such a good intro to a game.
Yeah, and it's without really much action, which I find quite incredible.
Yeah,
you'd expect it to have to be like an action-heavy intro, but you're really just thrown into their house and their perspective of what's happening.
Yeah. You just walking through the house slowly. You spend most of the game sitting in the back of a car, just looking around.
Yeah.
And you're just taking in all this panic, and it's such a great way to just get you into the intensity of the game.
Yeah. And then obviously another half hour later, and he's lost Tess, and is joined by Ellie, who obviously is going to be the main character for Part 2, as we assume from trailers and such.
I think it's been revealed now online. I think we now know Ellie is going to be the main playable character.
Yeah, so that's really exciting. So obviously you go from Joel having his daughter, and they clearly have a very good relationship, to finding Ellie, who he does not have a great relationship to begin with. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
And then
that's just part of the in-depth character work, though, isn't it? You can clearly see how Joel sees his daughter and this girl Ellie and hates her for it, and really puts a wall between their relationship, and that's how the game then develops, is seeing how they try to work things out.
Yeah, and that's the character development, isn't it? Going from hating each other to, at the end, again, spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoilers, guys.
Him willing to sacrifice basically everything to get her back.
Yeah.
And a chance at the cure to whatever they call it.
Yeah.
The massively long word they have for it. The virus, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's about just how much Joel is willing to sacrifice for someone that he doesn't give a crap about at the start of the game.
Yeah, even physically resents them for it as well. It's the arc in the first game is actually just fantastic.
And I think that leads us nicely into talking about the gameplay, which I would not ever say is the best gameplay ever.
No,
because I don't come back to this game to play it, because I just don't find it that entertaining to play. But the character work and the story is worth it, and it just makes you want to come back and replay it and replay it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the game does so well is the story behind the characters that you're playing with. And like I said, yeah, the gameplay it's not, I wouldn't say it's terrible.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
not saying it's
it's
bad at all. It's just
it came from PS3 remastered for
yeah,
PS4, wasn't it?
but if you
So
look at what Naughty Dog have done since with Uncharted 4, which I
yeah,
consider to be the best of the four, um,
yeah,
the gameplay was a lot better. So that's obviously something we can expect in part two
yeah,
with
which is
better
what
system and
yeah,
well, just
next
heavily
gen
improved.
console.
Yeah. Should we start talking about part two?
Yeah, sure. Right, okay. So what are we expecting plot point wise, story wise, going into part two? Are we thinking, first off, are we going to get a similar sort of cinematic at the start of the game that throws us right in? Because there's been a break. We know now that there's been a break between part two and the end of part one. Been about 5 years or so.
5 years, yeah.
Circumstances will have changed. Are we going to have a similar cinematic first level to throw us in, get us all caught up with the same sort of hard hitting and in detail sort of
Would you be able to
cutscene?
handle another one like Sarah?
Uh, no, I don't think I would, to be honest.
It will be
I think,
interesting to see if we lose one of the main characters, I think, because although unlikely, losing Ellie would be incredibly interesting for
yeah,
Joel mainly.
I am suspecting we are not going to see Joel get to the end of this game.
Yeah, see, now that would be also interesting because of how Ellie's grown to see him like a father.
Yeah,
Uh, and it wouldn't be wholly unsurprising for me to not see Joel make it to the end because I feel like his arc was complete when he rescued Ellie.
yeah, yeah. I think it's really about Ellie's story now. This second one, so I think it's almost more probable than anything that we're going to see Joel die. The only question I have is how early in the game is he going to actually die?
Mm.
Because saw in the first game, we saw Sarah die straight away. We saw Tess die very early on.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to see a similar impact where Joel dies very early on, and then we see Ellie's sort of reaction to that, how she deals with it? Is that, or are we going
The
to
way the
see?
trailers have been presented kind of suggests that Joel may die, although she's been speaking to Joel. I wouldn't be surprised to see him as a vision to her, because
That would be,
we know that she's going to get revenge on
yeah,
all of them, basically, whatever that means. Um, so if that's her speaking about someone that's killed Joel while seeing a vision of Joel, as we see in the trailer, that would obviously be very hard hitting and could be quite early on, I imagine.
yeah, that'll be pretty gut wrenching if that's the case. If Joel is actually a vision, that'll be quite. I don't think it would go down all that well, but I think
No, I can see that
in
split in the fan
terms,
base, definitely,
yeah,
because
but
it was quite clear in the trailer that he was alive.
yeah, and was going to play a part in the game.
Yeah,
Um, it'll be interesting. It's what would then be interesting as well is a big part of the first game was how they built on the relationship between the two of them. Obviously, Joel then dies. We all see the reaction to how Ellie loses her father figure. But then they're not going to keep Ellie as a single character without any other relationships to build on throughout the game.
no,
Because
you,
that's
yeah,
just
then you
not
can't,
how
you struggle to grow her, wouldn't you?
exactly. So what I'm interested to see what new characters are going to come in that had so many different types of relationships that as as happened in the first one, pretty much all of them ended up with one of them dying. Um,
Yeah,
uh, we saw like Henry and Sam from the first one, the brother and the two brothers.
the
That
brother and brother.
yeah, the brother and brother exactly. Um, that we saw Ellie start to build a little bit of a friendship with the younger brother, and then uh, spoilers for anyone, but bang,
Spoiler warning.
yeah, he dies.
He
Yeah,
bangs He's dead.
Bang, he's dead, gone. Younger brother gets infected. Older brother shoots him in the face.
That was also another heart-wrenching moment I'd kind of forgotten about, to be honest. But their bond as brothers was quite...
It was, yeah, they got it across quite quickly how, like, close-knit these two were.
Yeah.
And they were only in there for a short period of time as well.
Yeah, and then having one of them kill the other one and then turn the gun on himself was, I mean, all kinds of brutal. And again, that was probably about halfway through the game, I'd imagine. Again, it just like retold you how brutal this world is.
Yeah, it really. There were so many dark themes in that first game. Obviously we had cannibalism towards the end with was his name David, the leader of that group?
Oh yeah, that guy. That guy is the worst guy.
We do not like David. Not a fan.
Voiced by Nolan North, by the way, the guy from Uncharted.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's been
and Richtofen in Zombie.
Yeah, he's been around, that guy. We did. That was he did act the villain very well, I have to say.
Yeah. My God, did you love to hate that guy?
Yeah. So we've got brothers killing brothers, cannibalism, all sorts of darkness in that. Are we going to see? I mean, how much worse can it get in part 2? What are we going to see? We're going to be some nasty ass shit.
Yeah. Well, you just got to think, how are they going to top 1?
Yeah.
And the way they're going to top 1 is by being more spectacular and more depressing than 1, I'd imagine.
It's going to get dark. It's going to get intense. They're not going to try and beat it with comedy, are they? They're not throwing jokes in there.
I would imagine not, though. Because it would be out of place.
That would be bizarre. I think we're going to see, building on how Ellie's going to have to form relationships. I think we saw a little bit of it in one of the gameplay trailers. I think we're going to see a love interest for Ellie in this game. And it looks like it's going to be a woman as well, by the looks of things, from what I've seen.
Yeah, I believe she's played by quite a famous actress as well. I'm not sure who it is, but that would imply she's got quite a big role.
Yeah.
Which again leans into the fact that Joel may not be there.
Yeah.
This is obviously all speculation, by the way. We haven't looked at any of the leaks.
No, we've been trying to keeping away from these leaks, like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, it's like the plague. We don't go near it.
We could have people watching this who know exactly what's going to happen already, and it's like, these people are wrong. These people are so wrong.
Joel's alive at the end. He's having a great time. He's having a tea party,
making jokes left, right, and centre.
Yeah, it's become Thor Ragnarok.
I would not complain at all. Love a bit of Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Might be a bit weird in this scenario, but can't go wrong with a bit of Thor, a bit of Chris Hemsworth being thrown into the mix.
Yeah. One question I've got for you is, how important do you think gameplay is compared to story for The Last of Us specifically?
Right. Well, after the first one, obviously I don't want it to be. I'm expecting an improvement. We've seen what Naughty Dog can do with Uncharted, as you said before, but I'm going into this only hoping that the story holds up to as good as the first one. If the gameplay isn't the best in the world, I won't be that upset. Obviously, I want it to be playable. I don't want there to be glitches in every other scene.
Don't worry, it's not made by Bethesda. All out. No. They're known for their glitches. Terrible. Story's got to come first, doesn't it?
Story's the main thing in this game.
I saw something new today on Twitter about there's going to be new crafting, which I also find quite exciting because the crafting in 1 was okay.
Yeah.
Just okay. You just found random stuff around the world, didn't you? You just made it into.
Just picked up bits of scrap and then you put it together at a crafting table.
Definitely wasn't in depth. But obviously they can do more now. It's on PS4.
Yeah. Yeah, they can definitely add a bit more to the game, and that's
so I'm hoping for like incendiary bow and arrow. That'd be cool.
sort of TNTina's bow and arrow for those of you who play Fortnite. King's not a Fortnite fan.
But speaking about the bow, it has to return, of course, because it is the most satisfying way to ever get a kill.
Love a bow and arrow. That is the only weapon I need to return. That, and I want to see Ellie's knife back. I want to see a couple of little circumstances of Ellie creeping up behind some fireflies, getting a
You need
knife.
them callbacks.
I need them callbacks. Those little snippets. I want to see Ellie's knife. I want to see Joel's watch. Just those little things that made that little connections I made with the first game. I want to see back.
Yeah. Oh, I don't doubt they will be. To be honest, the Naughty Dog do put story first, as far as I've found. And just callbacks, those Easter eggs that obviously fans love so much. The watch in particular, I think, which came from Sarah.
Yeah.
And it's been broken for about 20 years, I think.
Joel has not been able to tell the time for a long period of time.
He can't tell the time, but he looks fly. So.
Yeah, it's a nice watch. Sarah did good. Selling those hardcore drugs.
Yeah, I was about to say, she sells those hardcore drugs.
I sell hardcore drugs.
It's just stuff like that makes you love the characters. Even Sarah, who's in it for 10 minutes.
Yeah, still mourning to this day. R.I.P. Sarah.
Still can't get over it.
No.
But with Sarah in, you'd never have got the development of Ellie and Joel, so it's something that had to happen.
Yeah, sorry, Sarah. Had to go.
Necessary evil. The question I've got for you, the main question story-wise, is do you think Ellie's going to know the lie that Joel told her at the end of part 1? So basically, if you don't know, she had the cure basically in her body, and he rescued her and told her that she didn't, basically.
Yeah, he made out that she wasn't in fact needed. They've already had many different people in the same scenario as she was, and they didn't lead to anything, so they just left.
And she wakes up and asks him if he's telling the truth, and he's like, damn right.
Hell yeah, I wouldn't lie.
So yeah, 5 years later, is she gonna know? And how pissed is she gonna be?
Yeah. That was something that crossed my mind when I first saw the trailer, actually, of how she was angry and wanted to get revenge, wanted to kill everyone. Whether or not that was, whether Joel has forced it into some other kind of lie, whether he's blamed someone else, or whether she's now redirecting her anger at Joel, at other people. It's an interesting one, though. I feel like that's going to be, I think she will find out at some point, because that is
right.
Such a big cliffhanger from the first movie, such a powerful way to end it. That I'm calling it a movie, like it's a first game.
Tis a video game.
It's a movie. I mean, they're gonna have to turn this into a TV show at some point. It's gonna be unbelievable for a TV show. Just hopefully they don't mess it up like they did for Assassin's Creed, but we won't talk about that.
A lot of things have been messed up in 3 Cans opinion.
Oh, I'm so angry at so much stuff.
Next, he'll go off about how much he doesn't like Fant 4 Stick.
Let's keep me on top. I'm gonna lose it. I swear. Right. Where were we? What was I talking about?
We were talking about if Joel's lie.
Yeah. It's too much of a plot point of the way they finished. There's such a powerful way to finish the first game. It's gonna come up. What could be an interesting way of looking at it, an interesting theory, if it comes up, if someone tells Ellie or Joel tells Ellie the truth after all this time, could that be the way we see Joel die? Everyone perhaps theorizing that Joel dies from Firefly, because obviously he killed a whole bunch of them at the end of the first game. But could Ellie kill him out of anger? Could she be so angry at the only person she trusts?
I've got to be honest, I'm not sure I could handle seeing Ellie kill Joel.
That would be mind blown. No, I would be I'd probably be crying more than I cried at the end of Logan, to be honest, which was a lot. Um, I,
Similar vibe, to be fair.
it really is, isn't it? There's a very similar. Um, how similar do Logan and Hugh Jackman look as well? Logan and Hugh Jackman. How similar
They're the
do Hugh
same
Jackman
person.
do Joel and Hugh Jackman look? I feel like TV show gets made. Hugh Jackman plays Joel. I'm just putting that out there. Make a hashtag for that.
Hashtag Hugh for Joel.
Very nicely
It's not
put.
the best hashtag.
Need something catchier.
Huge for Joel. How's that?
Huge Ackman.
Exactly.
I did hear he had a huge Ackman. To be fair. Here's the question I've got for you though, which isn't story related.
Shoot.
First movie, we see the dead.
It's a game.
I'm calling it a movie from now on because that's how I feel about it. First game, movie / movie.
/ TV show.
Exactly. Netflix, sign it up. Right. We've got the clickers. We know when people get infected, they start off being, are they called runners? I can't remember now.
Runners, yeah.
Then after a period of time, they turn into clickers. Then after a period of time, they become bloaters. Are we going to see a mutation or a development in these bad guys? Are we going to see a next stage after bloaters? Are we going to see some clickers?
Super bloater.
Exactly. Are we going to see like Blob in which X-Men?
So many movie references.
Too many.
X-Men 3, I think that was. Oh no, it might have been Origins. Anyway, yes, I think we will. I would be shocked if we don't. There's got to be some evolution, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Because 5 years, you got to remember, 5 years. Something's got to have happened in that time.
Yeah, something's like there's going to be mutate in the virus, or is it a fungus or something like that? Or we're going to see,
fungus.
or we're going to see a mutation just because that when they're infected for so long, what happens? We're gonna see some infected who have been infected for a long ass time.
Yeah, you got to think about it this way, basically. In the first game, they'd been infected for like 20 years, so add on another 5 to that. It's quite a long time, but they get bigger and they get more ability to tank arrows.
Yeah.
So, is there going to be like maybe a boss fight at the end where you get a beast? Just that kind of thing where you have to take on the next evolution. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that. It would make sense, right?
Well, the first game, a lot of the action was based around stealth as well, with obviously clickers using echolocation, so you're having to just creep around them quite a lot. Are we going to see developments in how they move around? Are they going to have?
Are they, by the way?
I tried showing a video of a clicker to a friend of mine who doesn't do well with intense game, and she just couldn't even watch it. She was like, no.
Yeah,
so
that first time you come across a clicker on that, you scale that building, right? And then you come inside, and then you find your first clicker or group of clickers. The intensity, the game, like from that point before, it's a good game and it's got a good story. But after that, when you first encounter your clicker, you know it's real. You make one wrong move, especially on Survivor. You make any wrong move, you're gonna die.
On Survivor, you don't even have to make a wrong move. Just make a move that isn't goddamn perfect, and you are up.
Yeah, you just get lunged at by Virgil van Dijk, basically.
Yeah, Clicker's gonna have you.
Yeah, so
not Van Dijk. Van Dijk would take you out cleanly. You're getting Ramos and Pepe coming at you if you're being attacked by a clicker. You're not getting up again.
No. So you have to clear out that little bit of clickers. Obviously stealthily with like a wooden board and like 1 or 2 bullets. That's the one thing I do enjoy about the game, to be fair. It's just so brutal. You're given such little ammo that you use wooden boards to take out things that can infect you and kill you within a couple of seconds. And you got to deal with it, basically. Yeah. You got to deal with those 2 bullets.
That is one of the best parts of the game. We spoke about how the crafting wasn't the best, but I think you're picking up little boxes of ammo shells as you walk around, and you really are having to survive on such little ammo. So I think, obviously, why the bow and arrow was so fantastic. Being able to pick the arrows back up again was fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Lifesaver. I
They may
would
be a
go
bit
so,
bloody, but
yeah,
you pick them up.
I would go so far off route. Like I've got like 10 meters to walk to get out of this map, but I'm walking back over there and I'm getting my arrows back. That is, I'm not leaving here without my arrows.
You're not being forced to use your fists.
No, no chance. Right, something
um,
else I want to ask you, by the way.
Go for
Um,
it.
we saw in the first game little bits of banter between Joel and Ellie. Um, like towards the end, just as I think right towards the end of the game, he says he's going to teach her to learn to play guitar, and then we see in the trailer she has learned to play guitar. We,
Fairly competently as well. Might I
yeah, did a good job. Well done, Ellie. Um, top playing. Swifty would be proud. Um, then we've also, will we just see other stuff like that? Will they get a callback? Obviously, Ellie couldn't swim in the first movie. First,
Oh my god, she definitely couldn't swim. The amount
oh
of times you have to take a board to her so that she can get
yeah.
across a mound of water. My
Any
god.
any level you come across and you see a pool of water, you're just thinking, right, where's this damn board? There has
Yeah.
got to be a damn board anywhere, or a
Yeah.
ladder.
To be fair, I pray she can now swim.
You got to assume that she can if she's the only playable character.
Yeah.
If she's the
Otherwise,
main
when
player.
you get to water, you're just stuck.
Joel, Joel, help!
Get in there, get me my pallet. Yes.
um,
Yeah, those
I'll
callbacks are
just
what make the game great, really, because
yeah.
you just find little snippets of information that you get told about, or you find on the floor, or whatever, or another character you're with tells you. Like the optional dialogue is always really interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
that is
and
something
then
for anyone who's about to play the game for the first time or who already played it and maybe hasn't done that. Really get as much of the optional dialogue in as you can. Like hang around the other characters when you're there with the AI characters and just try to speak to them as much as you can because it adds so much to the game in my opinion.
yeah. Well, you get to learn about stuff that you wouldn't know about otherwise, don't you?
Yeah,
And then obviously it just deepens the characters even more.
one of my favorite little Easter eggs from the first game as well when we're with Harry and Sam, the two brothers who are now dead.
They're dead.
uh, they you see Ellie picks up a small toy for the younger brother. I can't remember. I think Henry is the younger brother. I can't remember which way around it is now.
I have to
Um,
admit, I don't have a clue.
um, I yeah, one of my favorite Easter eggs from from the first game is later on you see Ellie get out of her bag a toy that the younger brother had asked for and he wasn't allowed to keep. But as the AI characters leave the toy shop, if you wait around and keep your eye on the younger brother. No, sorry, keep your eye on Ellie because you're playing as Joel. You see Ellie just swipes the toy, puts it in her bag, which I think is just a fantastic little touch. It's like those sort of details that Naughty Dog have put in is just what puts the game just one little step higher, in my opinion.
So she steals it.
I mean,
Unbelievable.
I don't think the owner of the toy shop was there to complain. To be honest, that toy shop did not look. It looked
Didn't
like it had been rioted. Let's be honest.
didn't look in great order.
It had been looted for sure. For
And they
sure.
didn't take the toy.
They didn't take the toy. It wasn't a great toy, to be honest. I think if he'd have been any older, he would have realised it was a shit toy and would have gone for the PS4. But
I think maybe electricity isn't working in their world, to be honest.
potentially,
Yeah. That's just a thought though. You never know.
got to get those generators on, haven't you?
Yeah. Who's gonna play FIFA? Um One thing I was going to ask you, we should probably wrap it up soon. We're already at like half an hour. Um, is do you reckon we'll see Bill return? Obviously, Bill during the first game was a interesting character, very different from anyone else you meet. He basically hates the world,
Yeah.
um, but he does survive part one. Are we going to see him return?
I think he'll show up. I think in the first game he had uh, a decent amount of content where he was there. He played quite a big part, didn't he?
Yeah,
I
and everyone
think
hated him, and he hated everyone else.
yeah, he will. I reckon we'll see a similar amount of game time. I don't think he'll play a huge part. But I reckon we'll see him turn up. We might see him die. That'll be funny.
He's one of those characters you either love or hate.
Yeah.
Personally, I thought he was quite annoying, but you know,
I think do you get the bow and arrow not long after you see?
I think you get the bow and arrow before him. You start getting craftables, I think, around his time. It's like maybe a third of the way through the game.
Yeah. It's when you get the car, isn't it? When you go to see him.
Yeah.
Get the car moving. I think we'll see. I think we'll see Bill. I think we'll see Tommy as well.
Yeah, Tommy was good.
Joel's brother. Be interesting to see how much contact those two have had, because obviously, first game, they hadn't spoken for a while before we meet Tommy in the first game. There was a little bit of friction between them. Be interesting to see if they've kept in touch after the ending of the first game. He was an interesting character. I liked Tommy.
Mhm.
Obviously, interesting to see what's happened with Marlene as well, head of the Fireflies. Will she still be the head? Will she have lost the faith of the Fireflies after her man Joel
Came in and stole the cure.
Stole the cure, killed pretty much all of them?
No, it'd be interesting to see what state the Fireflies are in, definitely, because
Yeah,
they were. You never knew basically in the first game whether they were an ally or a foe, really.
yeah. There was quite such panic going on in society at that point. You're never really sure which side everyone landed on.
There was definitely friction between Joel and them, but obviously towards the end, Joel made sure they weren't allies.
Yeah,
Um, so it'll be interesting to see where they pop up again. Because I swear, the first trailer, the first thing you saw was the Firefly logo on a street sign. So obviously they're returning.
yeah. Yeah, we're
Um,
definitely gonna see him again.
yeah, so that'll be interesting, definitely. So yeah, for part two, what are we expecting? Is it going to be better than the first one?
Hell yeah.
Better? You really think it's going to be better?
No, I'm a bit worried. I mean, it's got such a high standard to live up to. And we've got to just try and keep our expectations a little bit in check, because if you set it too high, it'll never be able to live up to it. But I think it's going to be. They've had enough time to work on this. How many times have they put the release date back? Just
Yeah.
they've had enough time to sort
It's
this
been
out.
set back. It's been set back. It was meant to come out last year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. I think it could well be on par with it because they've had their time. They know their characters.
yeah,
It's just about whether they can deliver on the story and if the story like resonates with fans, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But I think when it does come out, we're going to be playing it like crazy, and we'll be playing it. We'll find all the little Easter eggs. For those of you watching, if you come back, we'll have more videos on when the game does come out. We'll be playing it non-stop. We'll have videos pretty much every day, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talking
Well,
about it.
it's going to be completed pretty swiftly, I think.
Yeah, and then again, and then again. Hopefully, as long as he doesn't
If
let us
we
down.
can.
As long as we don't get a Game of Thrones season 8 sort of style disappointment, it
How
will be
many
played
times
again.
can you get Game of Thrones into this video? Twice.
I am still upset about it. Okay, I'm not happy.
Yes, you made that clear. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you have watched, we appreciate it. And
Yeah,
check back for any other
yeah.
last content, definitely.
We'll be playing loads of games. Obviously, FIFA. We'll play a bit of Fortnite. We'll be playing a bit of. What else? We playing Spider-Man. Uh, Pretty much everything. We play absolutely everything. So check back, subscribe, hit the like button.
Feels weird to say, right?
Yeah, man. Like
Having
and
watched stuff.
subscribe. Let's see if we can get this to 10,000 likes.
Might be a bit premature. Anyway, thank you. See you later.